All right, hey everybody, Trevor here, and we're talking about guest blogging for our presentation tonight. Guest blogging it's an internet marketing strategy that really caught fire when blogging started to really catch fire, which was years ago. Blogging's been around for a while, but what ended up happening is as a way to further promote a business or a service or somebody else's blog, people began to do this thing called guest blogging. Now, I've got a really good example of what that is. I'm just going to show it to you guys on my screen. This is a blog that we've looked at before. I like this blog because it's extremely well done. This is called GetRichSlowly.org. It's a personal finance blog, and these guys make money off of advertising on their site. They don't necessarily sell a product or anything. But they actually allow for guest posting or guest blogging, which means a guest author comes on to this blog and gets an opportunity to write an article and post it on Get Rich Slowly. So here's one right here. This is called A Reader Story Using Small Income Streams to Fund Big Goals. And you'll see, and this is very traditional in a guest blog post, right here I'm going to highlight this top part right here. It says, this guest post from Julie Mayfield is part of the Reader Stories feature at Get Rich Slowly. Some stories contain general advice, others are examples of how a GRS reader achieved financial success or failure in 2006. And this is, guys, this is kind of a little bio for the person that wrote the article. It says, in 2006, Julie hired herself to save her family money, make extra money, and pay down debt, all while creating a life she loves. She blogs about her experiences as the family CEO. And that's the introduction to the post. So this guy right here, this is J.D. Roth. He's the owner of Get Rich Slowly. And he's basically saying, hey, wait a minute, this isn't me writing, this is Julie Mayfield, just a heads up, and gives a little bit of a bio about her, and then she has this blog post that goes on, and then that's it, okay? And then you'll see comments listed below. Now let me ask you guys a question real quick. Why, right? Why is, first of all, the owner of the blog wanting a guest post from somebody else? How do they benefit? How's this J.D. Roth, who owns this very, very popular Get Rich Slowly blog, how are they benefiting? And then on the flip side, we're going to look at how this Julie Mayfield is also benefiting. It's kind of a I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine mentality in marketing. Okay, so first, how is JD? How is the host website benefiting? Yeah, I would say it adds interest. I think that's true, Robert. I mean, you think about it, a lot of these blogs are written by one person all the time. And having a guest post come in or a guest blogger come in might add some unique perspective. Sure, adds a little extra interest. Yeah, fresh outlook. I agree, Cheryl. Now, Susan and Jeff, you guys both said it could bring more traffic. In what way? How would Julie posting on the host site Get Rich Slowly, how would that get Rich Slowly more traffic? Or maybe you're speaking in terms of Julie. Yeah, maybe Julie's friends and family. Sure. Well, I would argue that's a good point because this is such a popular blog. It's like, imagine if for some reason or another CNN called you guys up, CNN, Fox News, whatever you prefer. They called you guys up and they're like, hey, we want to run, a quick, we want to interview you and have you comment on a certain topic. And you got to get up on CNN or Fox News. You'd probably tell some people about it, right? So it might benefit the network that way. Of course, those are such big networks. I guess that doesn't really that doesn't really matter as much. But in a smaller setting, yeah, maybe Get Rich Slowly is going to get a bunch of new readers, possibly. Yeah. It looks like this Julie Mayfield owns this site right here called The Family CEO. If I click on this link, it's probably going to take me over to her site. Yep, here it is, The Family CEO. So this is Julie's site right here. And anyway, this is her blog listed. I would imagine she probably said something on her blog that she was guest posting on Get Rich Slowly. That might have sent Get Rich Slowly some benefit. I think the biggest benefit, though, I mean, from being a blogger, because I've done some of this before, from Get Rich Slowly's perspective, it's really nice to have somebody work hard and create awesome content for your site that's not you. Because all this guy does is create content for his blog, writing articles, coming up with interesting things to write. Wouldn't it be nice every once in a while for somebody to come in and just write it for you, right? It's huge. I think that's a big reason why Get Rich Slowly does it. Yeah, good comments, guys. I'm just reading through some others. Yeah, I think so, Catherine. When somebody sees Julie's blog, there may be a link to Get Rich Slowly, so traffic to Get Rich Slowly. Yeah. I'm sure if we looked hard enough, we would probably find some reference to Get Rich Slowly here. Definitely. Susan says her topic might be different, pulling in more traffic, looking for her topic. Yeah, definitely. I definitely think there is some benefit to Get Rich Slowly. Now, let's change the perspective a little bit. How about what's the benefit to Julie specifically? Why would she be so? Because Julie took the time, and let's actually go back here to Get Rich Slowly. Julie took the time to write this blog post, and it's pretty well done. You can tell this wasn't just thrown together sloppily. This was well done. She took some time and some thought. Could have taken her a couple of hours worth of work, maybe more, maybe less, right? Maybe a lot more with the research she did. Yeah, I mean, the big thing is exposure, right? Like, she's getting on to one of the most popular finance blogs, personal finance blogs in the world. I mean, that's going to benefit her. I mean, look at this. This blog has 90 comments on the article. These are all regular readers of Get Rich Slowly. So because she published on here, her link is front and center right here at the very top of the site, right? That's a fabulous link. So not only will that send her direct traffic, all the thousands of people, probably thousands is probably very conservative. I think Get Rich Slowly probably gets, I don't know, 30, 40,000 visitors a day, maybe. Can you imagine 30, 40,000 visitors a day and her link is right there at the top of the blog for a few days? That's huge, right? So direct traffic. How about the link itself, guys? Even if nobody were to click on this link, the link itself is going to provide some serious Google trust, right? We've talked about that so many times in these Thursday night webinars. Links provide trust from Google. We want more links. More links brings us more trust, right? And that's the point you were making, Catherine. It looks like you said because Get Rich Slowly is a credible site and trusted by Google, which it most certainly is, it helps to have a Get Rich Slowly link back to Julie, who may be new and gain trust for Google herself. Yeah, I mean, think about it. Get Rich Slowly is a massive website. It's old. It's been around for ages. It's very credible. Anything that Get Rich Slowly links to is going to massively impact how Google views the site that's on the receiving end of that link. So if Google knew very little about the Family CEO, right, this site we were looking at here just a second ago, and then all of a sudden they got a link from Get Rich Slowly, what's Google going to do? They're going to assume that, hey, wait a minute, like this is probably a decent site. It might bolster them up the search engine quite a bit. That's a pretty critical link. And in a direct way, Susan, I agree. Susan says she gains more traffic and followers to her site from her post based on those who come from the Get Rich site. Yeah, like they're in kind of a similar space. I think if you, you can look at the tagline of the Family CEO. It says a blog about money and the business of life. Well, Get Rich Slowly is about money as well, right? So they're in a similar space. There's certainly a likelihood that a reader of Get Rich Slowly may be a reader of the Family CEO now. She could have gotten a whole massive influx of regular readers. So there's a lot of benefit to her. I would argue maybe more benefit to her than even Get Rich Slowly, because she's the smaller business here. She's definitely benefiting in a greater way. So you can see that. You see that relationship there, why it's so valuable. It's good for Get Rich Slowly and it's good for her. It really is symbiotic. They're both going to benefit from it. Therefore, we think it's something that you guys should be doing as well. This is actually pretty commonplace. If you've done much reading of blogs out there, you'll see occasional guest posts. It's been happening for a lot of years. It works well. It's been proven in SEO to build credibility and rapport with Google. It's something that you guys should be doing. And the links here are not of a low quality nature. Usually when you're doing directory submissions or blog comments, those are lower quality links. And what I mean by that is if we go back to Get Rich Slowly, we were just looking at her link right here that's at the top of this blog post in the body of the page. Okay? Google knows the difference between that link and then these links down here in the comment section. Nicole, that's listed right there, that's a link. Nicole is a link there. Julie at the Family CEO, that's probably a link back to Julie's site. But this link right here, number 67, isn't nearly as powerful as the one at the top of the post in the body. It's a much more powerful link. Anyway, any links in the comments section, Google knows what kind of links those are. They're of lesser quality. So, I mean, it makes a big, big difference. So going back to our notes just real quick, why? I'm going to say link building is one reason why we do it, right? Direct traffic is another reason. People who read the blog that then come over to your website. And, you know, as a third reason, I would just say, you know, authority and credibility. You know, for you. I mean, if you could say, let's take this example that we're looking at. Julie now, if she can say on her site, well, hey, I'm published on Get Rich Slowly, right? You know, that will resonate with some people, that she's been published in a really high profile finance blog. It's a resume builder. And if you were published all over the place, that would build some credibility. You'd become more of an authority in your field. And that's kind of what you want to do. You want to become kind of an authority. Now you might say, well, wait a minute, Trevor, I'm selling home decor on the internet, right? Like what kind of an authority do I need to become? Well, I mean, the reasons for doing this may not be for you to establish a name and an authority in your space. Maybe, but for you at least, it's going to be because you want to build a link and you want to get some direct traffic, because the link's going to help you rank in Google as well, right? You're going to gain some authority with Google, if nothing else. So those are the reasons why. There's some other fringe benefits there, but those are the main reasons why, okay? So kind of high level, I want to give you the steps on how to start doing your own guest posting on other people's blogs. Now, a couple of things. I've got some. We're just gonna call these starting checks. Okay. Here's what you've got to. These are our prerequisites, we'll call them. Okay. So here's what you need to have before you do this. One, you really need to have a blog. You should already be blogging, which is kind of why I bring this up later on. I mean, we did the blog series weeks ago, to make sure you guys can start working on blogging, that you are blogging. It's hard to get into guest posting if you don't have an existing blog. So you need to have a blog that you've been writing on for a time. I'm not saying years, I'm saying maybe a few months and some regular posts. So it looks like you've got some experience. So you need a blog first. I would also argue you need social media accounts set up. So you would need like a Facebook, you would need a Twitter account, you're probably going to want a Google Plus page, you might want a LinkedIn account, right? And I'll explain more about why you should have that, okay? Those are probably the two main things. I mean, I don't think this would be my first marketing strategy. If you've never done any link building before, have some experience under your belt first. Have done directories or, blog commenting maybe. Have some link building experience before you try this, because this is a little more advanced, I would say, okay? So those three things, make sure you've done a little bit of that before you embark on this guest blog posting, okay? All right, so speaking really high level about these, and I'm gonna, this will really just kind of be an introductory webinar. We'll put together some real specific helps in each of these sections, but there's really 3 steps to making this happen, okay? Step number 1, which we're looking at right here. Okay, we got to have you guys identify good targets, good blogs that you'd like to guest post on. Now help me out, guys. What would you define as a good blog? So if you were going to go out here today and start finding potential guest posting partners, venues to submit a guest post, what kind of a website would you be looking for? Or not looking for? What would be some of the criteria or characteristics of the blog you're looking for? Okay, so yes, Kirk, I agree with that 100%. Let's make a note of that. I'm going to put this in bold letters here, okay? Related to your niche. I couldn't agree more. If you have a website that sells kitchen appliances, why would you ever be guest posting on a personal finance blog, right? Your target audience is probably not get rich slowly people. Although you could make a stretch, right? Let's say you've got some of your appliances are very affordable. Maybe you're a discount kitchen appliance shop. There might be a reason why you would submit content to Get Rich Slowly now, right? What's the demographic of Get Rich Slowly? It's probably people that are very conscious of the way they spend their money, right? People that are on budgets, people that care about getting value out of what they spend their money on. Maybe there's a relationship there, but generally, I agree, Kirk. You want to find related blogs in your space, in your niche. Okay, good. Robert, you say someone who ranks higher on Google search? Yeah, I would say so. So we'll say a Google trusted site, maybe ranks high. Yeah, because if they're pulling decent rankings in Google, they probably have some authority that they could pass over to you if they link to you, right? Yeah, it's a great comment. Yeah, Catherine, that goes along with what Robert just said. Quality site, high domain authority. Yep. Yeah, I'm going to put that over here in parentheses because that's your measurement of a trusted site. High domain and page authority. Which, where do we check, guys? Where do we check page and domain authority? What tool do we have to use at our disposal to check those parameters? Yeah, we use Moz, don't we? Okay. So if you're ever wondering, is it a good site? Does Google trust it? Go toss it into Open Site Explorer at Moz, and it'll tell you. Yeah, so I agree with some of these, Susan, for sure. Up to date, right? Whoops. Up-to-date site. If the last blog entry on the blog that you're looking to do a guest post for was done, 2 years ago, like if you look at Financial Nut, my site, the last person that posted on my site was a guest post. And anyway, it's been years, right? I don't update that site at all. So I actually get guest post submissions all the time still, but you better believe, since I'm not posting regularly on the site, I'm not following up on it. So I agree. You want an up-to-date site, because if you submit or try to contact the owner of the site that's not updated, the chances are they're probably not going to do a guest post, right? Pertinent to your site, I agree. Good content. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so competitors. Angela, you're asking about competitors. Yeah, probably not. I mean, you're probably not going to look to guest post on your biggest competition's site or their blog. It's going to be more fringe sites. Like for me, if I'm in the pearl industry, right, and I'm trying to sell pearl jewelry and I have a pearl blog, I'm probably not going to attack other pearl blogs that have an associated e-commerce shop. Rather, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to attack fashion bloggers, clothing, accessory bloggers. There's tons of those, right? Maybe some other types of jewelry blogs. Maybe it's not a pearl. Maybe they're not associated with pearls at all, but they're associated with other more trendy jewelry. Maybe they have a shop that sells jewelry but not pearls, right? And we could complement each other a little bit. So maybe fringe or sort of related industries, right? Maybe not pearls, but something kind of related to pearls. Yeah. You're not going to get a direct competitor to ever let you, share some benefit with a post, right? With a guest post on their blog. Probably not. Yeah, and then someone who's got a lot of links to their site, and we can verify that through these metrics right here in Moz, right? Definitely. Okay. These are good targets for sure. Now, I guess part of this should be how to find those targets. You can Google them. There's blog directories that we'll share with you later when we get into this more detail. I mean, you could go out there and just Google fashion blog and then look for guest posting opportunities. But that's where step 2 comes into play for just a second here. Step 2 is build relationships. So let me tell you let me explain what I mean by that. If I've got a blog, we'll use my Pearl blog as an example, and I find a really popular fashion blogger on the internet, right? And I can tell they're popular because I've done some of the checks you guys just suggested. Looked at them in Moz. They rank everywhere in Google. Their blog's very up to date. They get a lot of comments on their blog posts that are made. That's always a good indication of having a lot of readers. Are they getting a lot of comments? Well, let's say I just out of the blue send them an email and say, hey, I've got this website. I sell pearls. I think they're really cool. Here, check out a few. Maybe I put some pictures of my product in the email that I send them, and then I say, hey, I'd love nothing more than to do a guest post on your site. I've got this really interesting article that I've been meaning to write about, the origin of pearls and how they're made, and I feel like it would be just really, really interesting to your readers. Anyway, I create this little email, and then I send it over to this person, right? I mean, what's the chances this person gets back to me right away? Keeping in mind, of course, that this is a very popular blog. We're not the only people in the world that have the same idea to do guest posting. So they probably get inquiries every day, right? You think next week or whatever they're doing, they're going to drop it right there and they're going to say, oh yeah, let's line you up, right? Probably not, because they don't even know you. They have no idea who you are. You could write a very compelling and persuasive email telling them all about you and stuff, and you can do that, and that might help you out. But in most cases, because they get just so many guest posts solicitations, they're probably not going to make time. So you're going to be out of luck, which is why step 2, build relationships, is so key. Before you send that email that I'm talking about, and we'll get into the specifics of that email later and maybe some of the things you could say, but before you make that contact, what kinds of things could we do first to build a relationship with that person? After all, you're just a small fish, right? They're the big popular fashion blogger that gets 150 comments on every post they write, has 40,000 Facebook followers, right? Like they're just a lot more important than you are at this stage. What could you do to start building that relationship online? Okay, let me read a couple of these comments. So, post a comment on their blog. Isn't that what you mean, Robert? I would say that's true. Get on there and actually interact with some of their content. If you've ever done any blogging before, it's hard to relate, but if you have, you can really relate to this. It's so nice and validating when somebody posts a comment on your blog. Even if you get hundreds of them, it's just nice to get them. So that could help start at least helping them recognize who you are. If you've been posting on that person's blog, making comments on their blog for 5 or 6 weeks consistently before you emailed them, there's a chance they might know who you are, right? Ask intelligent questions about their blog. Yeah, sure. You could send them a direct email and try to contact them that way. Ask a question on their blog. Sure. What other avenues, though, guys? How about this? Knowing that this person is popular, why not contact them through these mediums, right? Here's 4 social media mediums that you could contact them through. That's why I said earlier a prerequisite is that you should have some social media. If you have a Twitter account and they just posted a really good blog about something that resonated with you, why not retweet their blog post? Or why not post their link on your Facebook page and share it with the people that follow you on Facebook? Yeah, share their stuff on social media. And I mean, I've heard different pieces of advice. Somebody I really respect that I was learning or just kind of learning about their take on this over the last few days. They say that, in their opinion, and I don't know how true this is, but this would be a good starting point. They said you should spend at least 4 weeks of good, solid, relationship building before you should send that email asking to do a blog post for them. You should be retweeting their stuff. You should be throwing their stuff on Facebook. You should be commenting on their blog so that when they get that email 4 weeks later, they're like, oh yeah, I know who that person is. Yeah, I'm going to take 3 minutes of my time right now and read their email to me because, they've taken more than enough of their time to scratch my back and to share my content, right? They'll reciprocate that same sort of charity that you've given them if you've been diligent about it. So those relationships are key, and that's why I would say if you don't have your social media set up, make sure it's set up before you start this because it's going to be difficult if not. Now, step 2 here in build relationships is, 4 weeks maybe for some, but some blogs, they're maybe not as popular and it may not require quite so much commitment. Maybe it only requires a week worth of you getting on and commenting and maybe 1 retweet on Twitter and that's it. Maybe it doesn't require anything, but a lot of times the extent that you work on step number 2 here is largely dependent on how popular that blog is that you're trying to get yourself on. It may take you a long time for a really popular one. Who knows what Julie here did, our example earlier. Who knows how long she spent trying to work, Mr. Roth over there at Get Rich Slowly. But she did it, and she benefited from it for sure. Good. Okay, so that's step 2. Build those relationships. And then step 3, the content you actually create and submit. Okay. This is a lot of times why or why not you're selected to do a blog post. When you reach out to that person, the content you submit can't be some sort of regurgitated, sloppily written, poorly put together, thoughtless article. It needs to be unique. It needs to be interesting. It needs to be well thought out. It should be backed by a little bit of research if you can, which you might be thinking, whoa, that's way too much work, right? Like you're telling me I should spend 3, 4, 5 hours creating this massively awesome piece of content, and I'm not even going to post it on my site. I'm going to give it to somebody else. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying, because if you'll do that, chances are you'll actually get people to want you to guest blog. No, I mean, I'm not going to want to post a guest blog that's garbage work, right? Sloppily written. There's no way. And you need to know your audience. So I'm just going to say, just because we're doing high level right now, I'm going to say number 1 under step 3, make it your best work, well researched, well written, proofread, that kind of thing, right? Needs to be good work. And it needs to be written to their demographic, okay? So I might be a jewelry guy, right? And I might be selling pearls, but what am I going to write that's going to be interesting to this fashion blogger's blog? Well, I might write something that has to do with pearls, but specifically relates to, summer fashion in 2015. Which, by the way, good luck for me trying to write something like that, right? That's why. I mean, how much do I know about fashion and pearls, right? I'll just tell you, I don't. I've told you guys this before. My pearl site's been really challenging from a marketing standpoint because I don't know enough about it, right? I'm not a fashion guy. I'm just not. So it's all along. I know a lot of you guys, I've told you to sort of do something that you're kind of interested in or you don't mind learning about, and it's coming full circle again. You can see why that was important, because when it comes to this type of marketing, if you don't know much about your niche, that's fine, but you got to be willing to learn about it, and you got to be willing to spend some time researching it, and this is an opportunity to do that. So write good content, submit it. They'll probably proofread it, and you'll get an opportunity to maybe put a couple of links maybe in the body, or maybe they'll have kind of a little introductory post at the very top, like JD did for Julie here. Maybe they'll do a little bio for you with your link there at the top. Maybe you can suggest what that bio is. I mean, there's no hard and fast rules. Every blogger out there is going to have a different set of criteria. In fact, these guys, I thought I'd show you this just because these guys are so big. I found on their site a page that shows you how to submit a guest post, because they get a ton of them. And it goes through all these different pieces of criteria here, where if you don't meet this criteria, they won't even consider it, and you probably won't get your blog post featured here. I'm just going to send this all to you guys who are here live with me, just as a matter of interest. I'll send that link to you guys, and then you can see a little bit more of what I'm talking about. Okay, so guys, high level here. We just covered why this guest blog posting works, and it does, and it still works. It's a good link building strategy for very good, higher quality links is what we're looking for. We gave you some prerequisites to make sure you've done before you start. And then we've given you kind of a little 3-step program here. Step 1, find good targets. Step 2, build relationships. Step 3, make it count and write good content. If you guys will stick to that model right there, you'll have some success with this. And I know a lot of you guys are like, but Trevor, I'm not a writer. I don't like to write. I won't be able to write that really great piece of content. Maybe not, but you'd be surprised. You know, when you first start this, you may not target the top websites on the internet. Maybe you target some smaller blogs who are going to be a little more lenient on your writing and are going to give you a break. Maybe you have a good friend proofread for you. You know, you can go to Fiverr.com and have somebody proofread, if not write you a guest post for $5, right? You can outsource this work if you want to. But I think all of you guys have it within yourselves to do it yourselves, even if you don't come from a background of doing a lot of writing. You know, I've told you all along, I'm a numbers guy. I'm a finance guy. I'm most certainly not a writer. But it's a skill set that I've worked to develop over the years, and I've gotten better at it. And so I do a lot of my own work, and I enjoy it. And I think a lot of you guys will probably be the same way if you do it too. Okay, so that's it, guys. High level one. We'll do some others in this series, probably even starting next week, because this is really something. If you guys are in the thick of marketing, I'd like you to start doing this guest blogging. So I'm gonna stop talking to you guys for just a minute. Give you guys a second to type in some questions. We'll do a little Q&A, and then we'll finish up. Okay? I'll give you a minute. All right, guys. Let's thumb through some of these questions. We'll do this for just a few minutes, and then I'll let you guys take off. Let's see. How much does Google ding us if we have 1 or 2 pages with duplicate content just within our own site? I mean, I don't think. I think your original page that had the content created will be okay. I think the page where the duplicate content is found probably won't rank as well. So I don't think you're going to get a huge ding necessarily, but that other page, if you're trying to get rankings for it, will probably suffer a little bit, Susan, because it's not the original. That's probably how I would answer that. Catherine, we're having one Thursday. Friday is up in the air next week. Catherine just asked, with the 4th of July coming up, are we going to be doing it Thursday and Friday? And I think we're going to do it for both. Thursday for sure, maybe Friday. We'll see. Chris, you said, where do I start marketing when my page is just published? You know, that's a good question, and I can't remember, Chris, if you were at the webinar we did just a couple weeks ago. It's this one right here, because I had that question in my mind, and I answered it in a full-on webinar. It's called Creating a Marketing Plan for Your Website. So if your site's just published, I want you to review number 27, because I give you some general guidelines on where to start. This would come down the road just a little bit for you, Chris. With you just starting, follow the outline in 27. I've got some pretty good specifics there. Jeff, you said, do you want to be on social media as your business or be as your personal? As your business in this case. This would be your business social media if you can do it. Yeah, let me resend that link again. This is the Get Rich Slowly one. It's getrichslowly.org/submit/guest-post. I'll send that out to everybody again. Great, Marjorie and James. Good for you guys for just. Yeah, it sounds like you guys are just getting started, but this will be something you guys will use later on. No doubt about it. Yeah, and it is, Robert. This is a hugely important strategy if you don't mind doing a little bit of writing. So, again, I know a lot of you guys aren't big on writing, but it's worth trying out. And you know, we're not expert writers here at our consulting team, but we're good enough to get the job done, and we can help you with it for sure. Okay. Great questions, guys. We'll do more of this going forward. Thanks for being here and learning about another strategy that you guys can implement for your site. I will see you guys next week, assuming nothing changes with the schedule. If I don't, for some reason, have a good 4th. I'll let you guys know if something does change. But for now, plan on Thursday again. And then Friday for eBay is iffy, up in the air. We'll see. Just check the calendar for that. But I'm thinking it'll probably still happen. Okay? And then we're doing tomorrow. So if any of you guys are still cranking away on eBay, working on that, feel free to come on out. 12 Mountain Time, 1 Central, and 2 Eastern. Okay? All right. See you guys all next time. Thanks for coming along.